there, sweet dear mama, don't you go cry. Everything's gonna be alright. Sweet dear mama, don't cry. Hey, so let's do a story time about my labor and delivery for my precious son, our precious son, Donovan and mine, Maverick. He was born on May 13th, 2023 at 5:55 a.m. in the morning, obviously. I don't know how this video is going to go. I don't know how slow I'm going to talk, how fast I'm going to talk, what emotions are all going to be displayed. And I'm gonna try and pack it all into one video. This is literally all over the place. And if it's coming across as that, is because it is. And I just figured, you know what, I may as well. Okay, my phone is literally overheating. I don't know. Anyway, let's go. So there's so much to unpack. And I just figured, now it just felt like a good time. If the more I think about it, the harder it is, and I'm probably not going to do it. But I really want to hear other mom stories, and I want to see if this is relatable or not. Yeah, because this is heavy, but it's also my story. All right, anyway, here we go. Okay, so it would have been Thursday. Well, really, going to bed Thursday night, I did what I usually did. I was in my bed, I was laying propped up or something, not sleeping on your back because you're not supposed to when you're pregnant. I was scrolling on my phone. I was staying up late like I usually did. And I remember it being midnight. And I remember like some liquid coming out, like feeling like some pee coming out as I'm like in my bed when I coughed or sneezed. I think I was coughing. And I'm like, wait a second. I've only ever like had anything come out like that, like some pee, when I would sneeze, like standing up, never lying down. So I was like, you know what, let me go to the bathroom, let me go pee, let me go, see what's going on. And I just remember peeing forever. I'm like, something is different, something's not right, something's going on. So I go back into my bed and I'm like researching and stuff, and I'm like, I think like some more liquid is coming out, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what if I'm going into labor? So my stepdaughter was living with us at the time, and I remember texting her, and we're going back and forth, long story short, and I'm just like, I think I might be going into labor. And she comes to my door, knocks, and I'm like, yeah, come in. And she's like, why, what's going on? And I explain it all to her, and we're both like, oh my gosh, is this it, because I had just turned 37 weeks pregnant, that in the middle of the night. And so I'm like, you know what, it says like you should like lay back down for like this period of time. And I did the research, I did whatever I found and stuff, and then I sat up again and more just kept coming out. I'm like, I think this is it. So she goes and wakes up her dad, and he's like in here like a flash of lightning, and he's like, you really didn't waste any time at all. And he's like half asleep. He was so cute, because literally that night before going to bed, we had read like a chapter in the Mama Natural book, and I literally said, I voiced it. I was like, if we go into labor tonight, I think we're as ready as we're gonna be. I'm, because it was going into the 12th of May, I guess. It just gets so complicated when you're starting out the morning, but it's in the middle of the night, and it was the night before, and blah blah. Anyway, so I was just like, I'm pretty sure this is it. So he calls the hospital that we had made an arrangement for, that would be my hospital to labor and deliver at. I don't think we were even packed. How are we not packed? Because I thought I had a few more weeks to go. I don't know. So I'm, leaking everywhere, and I'm like trying to like stay on a towel on my floor, and my stepdaughter and husband are trying to help me and stuff, and we're trying to pack the car, and we're like, this is happening, what do we do? It's like when you get behind the wheel, you're like, I don't know how to drive. I have been practicing for it, I have been talking about it, I have been learning, I don't know what to do. Anyway, so we get there, I'm not contracting or anything. My water had broke, they said like, come on in, gave us instructions and stuff. And so I had a birth plan. I had this birth plan of how it was going, what I wanted. I had made this known to my OBGYN, and she let me know like things that would be okay, that would not. We kind of improvised and uh what's the word, compromised, kind of a thing. And so yeah, and anyway, so we get there, my husband's like trying to get there really quick, and thankfully it wasn't, like, yeah, we got there okay and everything. I'm calling my parents. I'm, letting them know, like, this is it, this is happening, please pray for us. We get there. He actually drops me off at the doors into a wheelchair and then goes and parks the car. I was fine and everything, we were safe. I wasn't contracting yet. I'm just like la-di-da, but like I'm got liquid everywhere. We put trash bags and towels on my seat. And so it turns out we actually got into the wrong wing of the hospital, and there was like no one there. There's like no one on the floor. Like, we literally were walking and everyone, he's wheeling me along in the wheelchair, and I was loving it. I was like, oh my gosh, if you haven't been wheeled around in a wheelchair when you're feeling kind of good, it's like the best experience ever. I was living for it. And so, we're going in elevators and he's calling again, and thankfully we were able to flag someone down. I think she was on her lunch break, this nurse, and then she walks us over into the labor and delivery wing. We were so grateful. She was wonderful. And so I go up there and we're like, hey, I think I'm in labor. Like, okay, fill out the paperwork. I'm filling it out, And so we're like, well, let's go get you in a room now. And I'm like, well, let's see, here's your bed for you. And I'm like, well, I'm leaking everywhere. She's like, it's okay, we're gonna wipe it up or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, but I've never done this before, so I'm like, go pee some more. I think I put on like, the hospital Depends or whatever. There was some stuff I didn't pack that I should have, that I just, this is my first baby. Like, anyway, you live and you learn, right? So, I'm just, there, and they're starting, like, I did test positive for the group strep B or thing or whatever it was, and like, I had to have this antibiotic. So they're, getting the IV started, and of course it burns like literal hell, and I'm like, I literally was like, couldn't talk anymore. It was so bad. So she like dilutes it with something else. She gets me all strapped up to like listen to Maverick and everything. And so it progresses into, we're like, well, it's like it did and it didn't. So I'm laying there, which I realized that was a mistake. Like, why wasn't I active? I was tired, it was like 2 in the morning, 1 or whatever. And so anyway, yeah, like we're just kind of chilling out and whatever, just kind of easing in, taking naps and whatever. They keep checking on me, checking, she did this little thing of paper to make sure I am actually in labor, which I was like, please, can you not like stick it in there, because I've heard of this happening to someone else, and it like literally they are injured, this lady. So she's like, yeah, but there's enough, stuff flowing out. Well, yeah, but you're definitely gonna have a baby. So, we're getting everything together. She's like, I'll come and check on you. Well, of course, then they had to have me fill out all this paperwork, and I'm just like, trying to stay with it. I'm like, this is so real. This is happening, And so I remember, so my OBGYN, my doctor, was not on staff. So there's so much that happened. Yeah, and I'm literally gonna run out of time. Oh my goodness. But I remember from there, as we're, going into the morning, I do get to see my OBGYN. She says, like, you're not really progressing, because I experienced, it was like some medium cramping kind of feelings, but nothing ever really happened. I'm just laying there, you're just chilling, trying to sleep, all that kind of stuff. And she's like, I really think we need to start Pitocin. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I think it was literally on my birth plan. I did not want Pitocin. I had heard nightmare stories. I'm like, this is not happening to me. I'm not doing this. I'm like, can I try something else? Can I do like the birthing ball? Can I exercise around? Well, when you're hooked up to a million machines, you can't really, like, you can't really do anything. And nothing was working. And I finally agreed, like, with I was like, this, no, but I'm like, well, what else do I do? And sadly, my mom wasn't able to be there because, I went into labor when it was unexpected. Obviously, that's usually what happens when you're, gonna have your baby. And we didn't even FaceTime. I think it was because I was too nervous with, the nurses and doctors coming and going, and because of where it got into with labor and how things went. So that was hard for me, because we wanted her to be there. She wanted to be there. But anyway, things happen. And So we start Pitocin, I was doing okay. And then I'm like, okay, so this is like a contraction. Oh boy, oh, this is, and it just slowly kept increasing and building and getting worse and getting worse. And I was contracting, and oh my gosh, I like was laboring for